Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Usunqobile or I'm Kize. That's my paternal surname, and Ngumkhulu Hlongwane. Um, welcome to all of you. So this is part 2 of basically of my introductory video where I'm answering questions that have been submitted to me regarding my calling, and just to give you insight and perspective on as a newly graduated sangoma and navigating life and going through my new normal. So let's get right into it. So okay, the question I had was how do you know if you'll twasa the ndawu umguniwe? Okay, or both. Usually, okay. So, from my understanding, I stand to be corrected, and I yeah, I stand to be corrected. As I said, I'm learning. We're learning together, and I haven't been around long enough to be like, yo, I know this is how it goes. But as I said, it's subjective from person to person. But umguni, as far as I know, everyone twasas umguni. Umdawo, usually, as far as I know, as if you're not of Zulu descendants, or you're not a Zulu person. Like, let me make an example. I twasad both umguni nomdawo, right? Because the ancestors who that gave me that gift on my maternal side, right? So my maternal side is Bona Ohlongwane. My maternal grandmother's ancestors are Ohlongwane. So they're from Swaziland, right? My dad's side, I'm Kize. They are Zulu, right? So since Idlozi, that has I don't want to use possess, that sounds scary, but the ancestors that are aiding me in this journey or supporting me, who are dominant in supporting me in this journey, not to disregard my paternal ancestors, no, but my maternal ancestors, they are not Zulu. So usually umdao applies to social linguistic groups, ethnic groups that are generally Southern African but are not Zulu. So Zulu, it doesn't usually include umdao in terms as key points of reference. But as Umswati, umdao is very highly prioritized. But as I said, it varies from culture to culture in terms of all ancestors are important, but like with different cultures, different types of ancestors stand out. I think definitely I will do a video on that, stating the different ancestors and what roles they play. But they're all important. But simply put, based on my knowledge I have as it is now, ne, if ungumZulu ngeke umthwase umdawo, like if you toss under emakhosini, you won't. But if you're part of a social linguistic group, as I said, outside of Zulu, usually you will. Do you get what I'm saying? So, because as I said, with different cultures, different ancestors, they draw on connecting with different ancestors for different reasons. So some ancestors are dominant in certain cultures more than others, but they're all equally important. I think that's one thing I've learned, that people don't explain is that they're all equally important. But also, as I said, it also goes on what your dominant gifts are. So I think also based in terms of like the initiates, they don't they focus more on the person's gift, like what the specialty of the gift is, but all ancestors are important because at the end of the day, all of these people need to work together so that you as their child, you're okay. So I hope that answered the question. And then the next question was, will you always lose your job, assets, or get sick when you answer your calling? Or is it possible to answer your calling and still live somewhat normally? You know what? Generally, honestly speaking, yes. Yeah, as I said earlier in the previous video, that that's usually the case. Whether it affects your job, if you're studying, your academics, like they usually knock out things that are your drive and your focus and your motivation. So if you're self-employed and you have a business, your business will be hit badly. As I said, car accident, losing your car, that's an asset. Your house getting repoed, like things like that, things that will just force you to introspect and be like, yo, my life's at a standstill pretty much. The only people usually that I from what I've seen, personally, who are unaffected to that extent, but obviously dream wise and all of those things, and is having visions and all of those supernatural experiences, but in terms of day-to-day unaffected are children. So children, I'd say, are lucky to get the opportunity to answer their calling early in life, but it's a disadvantage at the same time because they're deprived of a normal childhood, because this thing forces you to mature so fast, but at the same time it's like it's cool because it helps you to identify who's real and who's not, and who's there for you and who has good intentions and who doesn't. So usually it'll be like you're cursed or you have bad luck, and things tend to go wrong in every aspect. So in most cases, I'm yet to come across someone who's like, I'm gonna go train, everything's fine, everything's good. No, things are usually pretty bad, because if you've been aware of it and you ignore it, or you're in denial about it, trust and believe they're gonna make you pay attention. So things will go wrong. 9 times out of 10 things will go wrong before a person answers their calling. Hey, this is an interesting question. Can ancestors show you the partner they have chosen for you, even if you aren't gifted? Yes, absolutely. Yes. And yes, they can. You just have to put yourself out there and be open and honest and communicate with them and be like, and basically when seeking a partner, you ask for them to show you who they think is good for you, because at the end of the day, they know you better than you know yourself. They knew you before you were born. So if you trust them in that process to guide you through life and bring you someone when the time's right, like basically when you've worked on yourself and you've healed your inner demons and you've done the shadow work, I mean, what more could you want? Gandhi, if you're gonna take the whole love thing into your own hands and think you have control, you're playing yourself. Honestly, you really are playing yourself. So definitely, they will show you. You just have to communicate. They obviously not, if you're not saying anything, if you're not taking the initiative in terms of praying no pasha and communicating with them, then what, honestly, what do you expect them to do? But if you're putting in the work, trust and believe you'll see a difference. But I don't expect instant gratification. I think that's probably the most unrealistic thing you can do. As I said, work on yourself, be fulfilled in yourself and your life and what you're doing, and the person shall come. Yeah, it's easier said than done, but you know when whoever you're with or whoever you like is not good for you and they're toxic, but you're like, I want to be with them, they mean so much to me. Nah. Mm-mm. Trust in the process. It's easier said than done, but I'd say trust. So they will. You just have to let them know that you're open to it, because at the end of the day, they're protecting you also. If you want someone who's gonna bring you closer to your ancestors, make you more spiritually inclined, even if you're not gifted, but who's gonna be good for your aura, good for your energy. So because you don't know what energies people are carrying out here. People think witchcraft and think of a person riding on a broomstick. No, but it's having a dark heart, a cold heart, bitterness, hatred, anger. All of those things constitute as being a person who does witchcraft, and they can see what you can't see. So you need to trust them fully and unconditionally. Yeah. So I hope that helps put things into perspective. And the next question is, how long does it take to graduate, including the period before going to initiation school? The thing is, okay, I'm the period before initiation. That's very subjective. It depends on a person's specific situation, and not the thing is with these kinds of things, if you're consulting, obviously, you probably will believe that you do have a gift or a calling, but then you can believe it but not actually be in denial, but actually going through the process. And some people are in denial for years. Some people are in denial for years. Some people should die without even answering their calling. Other people, they answer, it's fine, it's all good in the hood, but they don't have support from their family at all. So, especially if you don't have the support of your parents, especially your mother, if your mother's alive, because usually the ancestors that dominate and give gifts are the maternal ancestors. You do need the guidance. You can get through it, but usually it's better if you have the support of your mom, or if your mom has passed on, unfortunately, if you have the support of an uncle, that also helps a lot. But those family dynamics, as I said, each family is not the same. So with dealing with all of that, and there's always going to be family members who are like, we don't believe in this is demonic, this is witchcraft, this is that, this is... So, that yo-yoing and back and forth, it can literally take anything from months to years. But with my own personal experience, I was lucky because, my mom wasn't sure about it, but when she saw I was getting worse, she stepped up quickly and she supported me. So I thank God for her every day. I don't take it for granted, and I appreciate her very much. Which is crazy because I love both my parents equally, but I've always been closer to my dad. But my mom was the one who stood up for me there and then, and then my dad was like, So for me, it helped with getting straight into my initiation process because of her support. So yeah, it varies. The same thing with once you're in initiation, depends on your ancestors. But I think once you go into initiation, it gets to that point, you can go to initiation. I think sorry, I don't have COVID, mind you. I just had a bad cold. But what I can tell you is you need to forget about life as you know it, life as you understand it. You cannot be stubborn in initiation. Even if what they tell you, what they make you do is stupid, you need to do it. You need to have an open mind at all times. And you need to keep calm at all times and look for the lesson in everything that happens to you and everything that you experience. And I found that for me, my process was really, really quick because I was open-minded. I didn't deny anything. I didn't question anything. I wasn't like, but you know, this is not how I usually do at home. At the end of the day, when you go to training, it's not your home. That place is not your home. It's not your res if you stay in res. It's not an Airbnb. You're there to learn and you're there to grow. You're there. It's uncomfortable, and I think at some point, everyone who's gone through this process of training has been traumatized. It's traumatic, but you come out strong on the other side, and I think it also helps you to deal with your inner demons in terms of letting go of things. Obviously, I've heard stories where the environment is very abusive. Some initiates are literally abused, and I was lucky that I've heard some very scary, some very vile and shocking stories. But I think there's no one who in initiation can say that they've had a good time. Then that just be an absolute lie. But I think for me, entrusting in my ancestors and letting go of life as I knew it, that helped me to finish quickly. Because for me it took about 4 months with the process, and that's considered really quickly. And some people will stay 6 months, others will stay a year, others will stay 2 years. I've heard stories of people staying even up to 3 years, 5 years, even a decade. So it's not the same. But I think once you let go and you give in and you accept things what it really is, definitely helps a lot. So I hope I've answered your questions in a way that you'll understand and that helps put things into perspective and is useful and insightful. And thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe and share, and please also comment. Definitely I would like, and I'd like to engage and for us to discuss and learn from each other, even though this is me sharing my experience, but definitely appreciate the interest you guys have with this, because I want to see everyone grow and everyone win. So thank you very much. Tolosline.